Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes embarrassing world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which can be, I mean, filled with cilantro, filled with basil, sometimes a lot of cumin. There's garlic salt and lemon pepper, but at the end of the day, hopefully something mildly sweet. Hi.
Hello. Okay, you guys, so we're here to talk about Love in Paradise Season 3, Episode 8. Mama said, knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said, knock you. Okay, points to those in the audience. Leave a message. Who sang that song? Okay.
There's no way if you can just exit stage right if you don't know. I'm going to tell you this. Obviously, that song is in reference to the characters Lydia and Nicole on this, but I'm also going to say Carlos giving us. Okay, I'm not a boxer. Can you believe it or not? But are you supposed to hit that hard bag without any gloves on, just your own bare hands? Like like that. I'm used to hitting like a softer bag like this, but I think that when you're supposed to hit like a body bag, are you supposed to use your actual bare hands? I think you're supposed to have gloves on.
No,
anyway.
you can use wraps, or people use wraps. His hands are wrapped, I think.
Yeah, you were. He had thin gloves. It just looks like it. I'm so delicate. My skin is so soft. Like it would be all bruised. Yeah. Anyway, so who do you want to start with?
Let's start with them because Carlos and Valentine, because it was short.
Yeah.
Except for next episode is actually going to be good.
Finally.
Yeah, it's like Jesus. So we didn't have any Jordan and Everton this episode, which lets you guys know how much footage they actually had, because she wasn't in like I think the first episode. Maybe she was in the second. I don't know. It's just been like sparse. And it took like,
especially if you take out all the fetish content they showed of her, the actual original content of what she has been like 1/4, because we keep seeing a lot of like all her videos she does. That's like at least half the footage is like her sitting on cake. Anyway,
yeah. And so anyways, Valentine is in his hotel room, and he says that he's just waiting for Carlos to come and, like, I guess apologize or get back together. And so he gets into his bed with jeans on, and covers himself in the bed. I'm like, how cold are you? And he calls his mother Beverly, which I forgot I love that name because I like to call people Bev. I think Bev is a cute little nickname. So Beverly gets on the phone, and she's obviously very much a New Yorker. So it's just like two New Yorkers talking to each other like New Yorkers would talk. Hello, mother. And she's like, hello, I like your hair. It's like that, So And he tells his mother about Carlos and Carlos's choice. And the mother says, you dodged a bullet. I feel like when he told his mother that Carlos was bisexual, the mother was like, I didn't know that. And I'm like, we're already in the land of LGB and TQ, right? So like at this point, let's just, I didn't know that. As though like being bisexual is like a crazy thing. And yeah, so the mom just was like, you dodged a bullet. He would have come, and Valentine is saying that he's worried that the bisexuality would have disrupted their relationship in the US. And remember that Valentine is polyamorous, so he's not necessarily opposed to Carlos being in a relationship with somebody else, but it feels like he's opposed to Carlos being in a relationship with women, with mujeres. So I don't know. Did you pick that up at all?
I thought it was more like if Carlos would just be like, you know what, Valentine, I do want to sleep with her and she wants to sleep with me and you can too, then he'd be so happy. I think Valentine's like, Valentine, okay, I want to say this. Valentine's like, Carlos, like, I would like to be poly. You don't want to be poly, but now here we are and you have feelings for someone. I can either push you into accepting that this is what it is and let me do it too, or I don't know. It could be a little bit of a test. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. So yeah, that's the only thing I was thinking, because I'm like, why is it such a big deal? But it's because of the emotional aspect of it, and I get that from Valentine. And so he tells his mother that the wedding is off, and I wanted his mother to be like, I'm still coming to Colombia though, so like let's have a great time, because the truth is the tickets are purchased, I'm coming, the visas are gotten, like I'm coming to Colombia, we're gonna have a good time. So and I'm just like, oh, what kind of expendable finances do you guys have to just like waste money? I'm like, listen, if we are going to cancel the wedding, we're at least going through it. I mean, people are paid, flowers are coming. Uh, like we won't sign any documents, but saving face and not wasting money. So I think that's it. Then we go to Valentine and he's punching a punching bag, as Chris said, with his delicate hands. And he says that he's just, his entire life has been disrupted because he has envisioned himself being with his forever man. And now that idea is completely gone. And I get that. I can get that,
do you believe all this?
I do.
What? You think that they're right now in real life that they didn't construct this whole thing to have some sort of drama, like will they, won't they, about this wedding, when absolutely the wedding was never not going to happen. That whatever this person's, I forgot, I'm gonna call her Jessica, but I don't know who's Carlos's person again, or no, yeah, who's Carlos obsessed with supposedly? What's her name?
Nicole? No, Michelle.
No, Michelle. Yeah, like no, there is not 1 ounce of me that believes this at all.
Well, I mean, you know that I always believe it and you don't.
I just, it's every time it's hard for me though I just want to, like, sometimes I just like want to be like, just checking in, Juan, do you believe it? And I just needed that in this moment. And I'll never say it again. I won't ask you again about this particular couple in this storyline.
You know that I always believe it. I never have a fake moment the way you do, and you're always so upset about it. Sorry. Okay. Anyways,
let's go up the thing, because let's go up the page to Juan and Jessica, because this is also kind of like, basically the last episode was the big deal of like, oh, we're having a baby and you one kid hates it, and then so this scene happened. Well, okay, there's 2 good scenes. So the first scene is just whatever, and then I'll get Wall to tell you the second scene. So the first scene is, all the boys, there's like Dayton and Dawson, and one of them is Witch, I'm not quite sure, and Juan. And Juan is like, well, boys, aren't you happy that we're having a baby? And obviously one of them isn't, and the other one's like, and so that kid has to be like, I just think it's too fast, which is the obvious and most truthful adult mature thing that anyone from his family has ever said on camera so far. And so we're like, how come this kid knows? But then Juan's like, well, what if I told you I do as well? Then I was also like, okay, yeah. Especially the person, Juan, that just got done in the last episode being like, I don't want to raise kids the way Jessica raised kids. Just put a baby in that woman. Okay, just want to make sure that we're all on the same page of who had the choices and what were the good ones, and like, do we know those things? And the answer is yes, we do. So what?
Yeah, I mean, they go to some kind of monkey reserve, and the monkeys are there, and I'm really excited, and they're running from like window to window, and then he pulls them aside, and they talk about it, and he's like, listen, I'm a first-time dad too, so like I'm in the same boat as you, Dalton, Dawson, Dayton, Creek. And so the other one's like, they're like, will you accept me to be your daddy? And the one is like, yes, Y-E, like he says Y-E-S. And like even though I heard it, I still thought he spelled S-E-X. Like I was like, what did he just do? And I was like, oh, because I've never heard anybody say Y-E-S. I've only been like, okay, those two were having S-E-X. And then we like, like, so to me, it was happened in my brain. It just took it. So then we have this really fucking stupid scene, guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was pissed. And this is another secondhand embarrassment too, because I think Juan was doing everything that he needed to do, but also providing all the fucking shade necessary to like tell dumbass Megan to shut the fuck up. So they're at the house, and Jessica's like, we invited Juan's family over to the house, and we're getting everything ready. And so she tells Juan to go and clean the barbecue, and he's like, is that what they told you to tell me so I can go outside? And he's like, okay. And she's like, yeah, go clean the barbecue. So then Megan's like, well, I'm going to go put the potatoes on because they take a long time. And she's like, okay.
I'm sorry, what are you going to do?
put the potatoes on because they take a
Mhm.
long time. And then she's like, then she's like, well, give this to Juan, and it's like some plantanos, right? So they go outside. And Megan's like, listen, I just want to talk to Juan and tell him that his behavior is unacceptable because blah, 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 blah. So she goes up to him and they're cooking and she's like, well, are you ready? Or something. I don't know. Something about, are you ready? I don't know, girls. Like, and then she's like, I want to talk about boat life or tour life or whatever, right? Cruise life.
Cruise life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's like, and yes. And she's like, well, I just want you to know that we got the word from the girl that you were dating, and I want you to know that if you ever hurt Jessica, then I'm gonna be there or some shit, right? I wrote it down. Let me find this fucking thing. Oh, I see it. I wrote it here. So then so then he's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I contacted the alleged mistress. And I was like, alleged mistress? They're not fucking married. And Juan is not carrying on with some woman who he's put up in an apartment and who he takes out on dates once a month. Like, what are you talking about, you small town simpleton? And she's like, yeah, I did a little internet sleuthing, Chris Farah, and I reached out to the sister of the girl and I saw that there were some pictures of them. And the sister said, yeah, they were intimate. So Juan is lying to my face. And I wanted to go, simpleton, who the fuck are you for him to even divulge anything? You are nothing to him. You are the sidekick. You are the wing woman. You are nothing to him. His relationship is with Jessica. And then she's like, if you're ever unfaithful to Jessica again, it won't be good for you. And Juan is looking at this woman like, I will flatten you. Like, I have a frying pan filled with plátanos and I will stomp you with it. What are you even talking about? And that's how I felt too. I mean, maybe Juan didn't feel that, but that's how I felt about the whole thing. I was like, if you're ever unfaithful, what are you gonna fucking do? What are you gonna do? Is what I want to know, Megan.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting, and he maintains that nothing happened, and she very much believes that they definitely boned, like I want to know if he knows that she talked to the sister. Like, I want that to come out and for him to that to definitely be a known thing, because it is an amount of sleuthing that is, some men would be like, how dare you, like, how dare you go get to the bottom of it. But you know what? If you're a Victorian sleepover kind of sister friend, that's what you do, Okay, so let's move on to the better two couples that we have for this episode. This is the steak and potatoes. Everything else was like bread and butter and like maybe like a little garden salad to start, like little gem salad is what they call it. A lot of like gem salads,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, there's no diamonds in here. What a weird salad. I found no rubies in my salad. Anyway, but Lydia and Scott and April and Valentine. So I know one's going to give you a lot, and so I'm going to give you the choice of what do you want your life to be like right now.
Let's just talk about April.
I know.
You start off with this.
Okay, so one thing about April in this opening scene, and I get it. These peasant princess dresses with the ruffle sleeves became a whole thing, and I did it too. Okay, I did it too. It's just like, I get it. Like, when you first see them, you're like, oh, I feel so great in them. And then you see how every outfit is what's happening. And it's going to be such a dated look in 5 years. We're like, oh my God, every one of us. And it's like, oh no, I did it too. Anyway, having said that.
It's like gaucho pants. Do you remember those gaucho pants that we used to wear? Is that what they were called? Where they were like loose, but they were kind of shorts, but they weren't. And then they were like tight and they were like loose on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't remember.
Like high-waisted shorts?
No. They were slinky capris that were like loose. I'm going to find them. Go ahead.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Slinky, but like,
I love them.
We'll find them. Okay. But let me say this. So like, April has the ruffled sleeves in this outfit on camera, and then also in her confessional. So there's like a back-to-back where you're like, girl, she loved them. And she's not the first person to love the same sort of style. Like, remember when Tiffany and or it was like a year of like Tiffany and Kalani kept wearing like the kind of sleeves that like had a piece here and then would also like open up here. It was like very thing. Let me also go back and say that in the last episode, I'm also seeing how. Yeah, I had so many of those. I want to talk about those. Like, that's very triggering. Go away. No, I had so many. I had literally.
Many.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad you said to me. Yeah.
So many of them, Chris.
Oh,
I, like black, like 3 pairs of black, like brown, like so.
They were so great to. I mean, they were just like,
So
what's the ugliest, most comfortable thing to wear in this moment? Any of those pants. I know. I'm like,
you blocked it out. You hated it so much.
I know. I'm like, because it's just like, you're right. I mean, we all make mistakes. And so everything I say is like, I can be shot in the face after every opinion I've given in my whole life. And I get that. Jordan in the last episode was wearing like very Kim Kardashian-esque outfit with those like frameless big sunglasses that also looks like it now that Kim Kardashian looks with the big sunglasses that are like kind of like mono and or like modern but like robotic looking, looks so 2018 19s that like that is what that is. And in real time, the princess look is what it is, and we're gonna move on, and I cannot wear any of those dresses anymore. That's what I'm telling myself, and that's what I'm now telling April. But here's April. She walks in. Now, as we know, April is there to eat with his family. He's not there. He has to work. Now, we also know about April is that she is OCD very much, and I'm going to use the word, and she did too. And I think that she's a germaphobe, not to the level of like normal, but so much so that she is, I mean, like impacted mentally, and therefore it's a really bad situation because she has put herself and allowed herself to be in a situation that is not, I mean, it's just so awkward to watch that I can't even like talk about it. But she's there, says his parents, his mom, the grandmother, and they're going to cook together. Well,
wait, before you move on. Yeah. Okay. So she is in the hotel and she packs this bag full of supplies. And you're like, as a good Southern woman who has 2 degrees, one in law and one in medicine, and you're the father of a judge, you have to know that what you are doing is wrong. No matter what your neuroses is, you have to know that as a guest to someone's home, you can bring wipes so that you can wipe down the toilet seat, so that you can hold handles. If you wanted to bring gloves, that'd be crazy and rude, but at least, okay, get yourself a white pair of Usher gloves. But to pack an entire bag of Lysol, wipes, gloves, like the kitchen gloves, you could actually get away with. You could say, "Oh, my uvas, my nails, I want to wear gloves," right? But to go there with Lysol spray, and then you get there and you're like, "Oh my God, it's sewage water." Get into the house, you say hello, you don't speak English, they're telling you what they're doing, and you can't. I mean, I would have that app out at every moment. She, unlike Scott, paid for international, and the international is working. She gets to these people's house, and she's like, "Oh, you guys cook outside?" I'm sorry, have you never been to a barbecue? Do you not know what, like, how ancient people lived? They cooked, the kitchen usually was separate from the house, and yes, people cooked outside. People go, like, what are you talking about? It's actually kind of cool. Like, you don't get to clean. It's not the same space. You're not hot. You're outside. You're cooking. I mean, Chris. Then they're like, para los manos, and she's like, "See, girl, if you don't know what the fuck they're saying," and they wipe it on their hand and it's like she's putting these people in danger with her shenanigans. And just the fact that she thinks they bring out, she thinks it's bleach, right? It's not Clorox.
I hate water. Every part. I know
it's water, but like she's like, okay, but I'm like, bitch, isn't that what you want? Is to eat bleach because you brought all these cleaning supplies to spray their fucking outside, like clay or whatever it's made out of thing. She is. I don't believe it. That's another thing too, is that I don't believe she truly has OCD. And I guess that is like my whatever, because I'm like, you fully work with people. You're a doctor. You go in and you like, how do you do that with the OCD? People are dirty. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for not believing it, and maybe that's the crux of it. But I feel like it's not that I don't believe it. It's that I feel like she could control herself more. And I don't think she's trying. That's it. And it just is rude, and it is incredibly rude. And it's so much of it is incredibly rude. And the fact that she, okay, first of all, that okay, then he's not there for 8 hours. His family comes there. And let me tell you, that English speaking brother, he's hot.
Oh yeah, I know, and she knew it too. And
Hmm.
and I think she wanted to use like, hey, he doesn't speak English, but also being like, why didn't I get with the Halloween? Can I just bring up one point
Yeah.
before this that's like also the smallest part of it that also was incredibly rude?
Hmm.
At one point, she's like, is there a place to sit? So then she watches as Juan's mother has to go inside. She knows what's happening. Pull out a chair and then bring one chair outside for her to sit down.
Yeah, because she fucking came there with wooden bottom candy shoes. She has on like platformed wooden bottom shoes. That's the fucking reason why. So yeah, I get it. She wanted to sit down. Girl, sit down in the fucking archway. Don't have this mother bring her dining room table out, one fucking chair just for you, and you be like, okay.
When that happened, I was like, I thought that she was okay. There's so many points that are insane, but I think that I had bought everything that she did not. I think that she is OCD. I mean, for me, I'm looking at someone who is like, to me, so delusional because
Okay.
she's in her own sickness. But I don't. But I'm no
Okay.
fucking doctor. I'm only a rapper. And
Wait, I have a question. But what about okay, let me just ask you this. Would you, being of a bougie nature, be able to go into this space and be slightly okay? Is there anything from your point of view you were like, oh no, I wouldn't have been able to do that?
No, I could have easily. I like didn't understand anything. I could
Okay.
go to the bath. I can go to the bathroom. I don't sit on the toilet. I don't even see. Yeah, I squat, sit on the toilet. To me, if it was me, I would have brought my lavender scented hand thing, which I like. Like I have, or a wipe that or is discreet. My lavender wipes, which I like, which don't even look like anything. And I would have enjoyed everything. I would have seen the bleach, and I would have known that it's not bleach. I would have 100% in my mind either smelled it or looked at it and just knew that they were using that as a beacon to bring water. I just would know it. I trust that these women, I look at them making this food and I know that they've made it 1 billion times and they've had many people eat it. And the only thing that would be something that I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, I might get sick because the water has different stuff in it. Like, I know that might happen, like, I don't know what to do about that. But that could happen anywhere just because of like the difference. So anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it
so
was yeah.
I would have known it's not bleach. I don't have 2 degrees like that. I have a theater arts degree, but I would have known it's not bleach. I've never been to the country, and she has. I would have known it's not bleach. Like I wouldn't have been like, I can't put water in a vessel. Like I would have been like, no, I can put water in a vessel. I would go to the bathroom. I would take the water. I would put it in this thing. I would do what I need to do, flush, and then I would take out my wipes, wipe my hand, and feel fine about it. So it's like I don't even like if you have the things like there's a lot of things.
And she's so rude in front of everybody too. Like, here's my thing. I've been to places where folks don't even have toilets, and they use an outhouse. Now, I would not have been able to use an outhouse, mainly because, like, listen, maybe if I were drunk, because I think drunk girls pee in the wild, or you know what I mean. Like, you do things when you're drunk, and you have to go ahead.
Would you use a but isn't an outhouse kind of like a porta potty?
I don't use porta potties either, but yes.
I've used a porta potty. I've used beach bathrooms where it's a big hole. It smells. I mean,
Yes.
I have before. Yes, of
Yes.
course.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's not like she's like, this is so foreign to her. The fact that there's even a toilet and all you have to do is
Yes,
pour water. You
it
sometimes have to,
flushes.
yes,
Sorry.
yeah, absolutely. You sometimes have to pour water down toilets in the US. I've done that when our toilet was backed up. And like you pour water down it and then you like plunge it and then you pour more to get it to flush. It's like a natural mechanism of toilets and plumbing or whatever. If you pour water down it, it will flush. And so it's like wild that she's like, never mind, I'll go to the bathroom at the hotel. You can't be with him. You can't be with anybody from a different culture or community than you because you don't know how to behave. And you think what you're doing is okay and it's not. And the fact that she's like, oh, the brother and sister speak Spanish, but Valentine won't. And so like obviously I picked the wrong one. I picked the idiot who won't like do whatever. And I don't know. It's just like She's very like hostilely American. It's like, is she worse than Karen, you know, like so, something for harvesting the American dollar? They're equal. It's just like so embarrassing to like know that American Black people of, you know, which I come from, would just go to a foreign country of other Black people and act so fucking American. It's just like crazy to me.
She's very American, you know, like she's, you know, like this is a very American thing, you know, it's interesting. This, you know, there's different parts, but this definitely feels classist, you know, like this is like that kind of, all I'm going to, okay, I wanted to say something. Okay. I felt bad because after all of this, you know, yeah, Valentine is like, yeah, my parents aren't millionaires. So yeah, we don't have water that goes to the thing. And I was upset that she didn't use the bathroom. And you know, his parents are telling him, you know, like she brought the cleaning supplies. They, you know, you know, and then it's like they are like he is internalizing and 100% knows what's happening and knows the cameras are showing this. It's just I just hate this so much for him.
Yeah.
You know, like I really do.
Yeah. It's, she's like, and I hope my OCD isn't showing.
Nope.
Ma'am, you brought a fucking duffel bag full of cleaning supplies, which you would not. I mean, unless she does that in the U.S., unless we've gotten video of her going to her parents' house doing the same thing, or going to an auntie's house doing the same thing with a fucking duffel bag, like that's crazy.
I want to say that this makes her look as bad, if not worse, and I mean this, as like someone like Jessica. You know, like I made fun of Jessica early on in this episode about her eyelashes or whatever, and she's gonna look at this. I was like, oh, she'll look at this and she'll be like, oh, you know, like I wish, you know, like I didn't know how it was looking. That all pales in comparison to how I think that how April is shown, which is someone who is so out of touch and truly dealing with, I mean, what looks like a disease or like a disease, like a mental illness, you know, like, and I feel in half of me is like, if that is how she lives, you know, like, I can see how intimacy would be hard, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, and still these moments I'm like, oh, how do you kiss? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you take in someone's saliva and their tongue into your
Yeah.
mouth? You know, if that's like one thing, you know, I could get grosser, you know, like,
Yeah.
because whatever. So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's,
And
yeah.
in the cab, she took public transportation, and I'm like, did you Lysol down that man's car? Like, this is what I need to see. I need to see her behaving in the same manner out in the world for me to justify this behavior. She took public transportation there. She got dropped off by Uber. Did she spray down the Uber's car? If the answer is no, then she knew what the fuck she was doing going into these people's house doing this.
I agree.
That's it. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I need to see her in the wild. Like, yes, the hotel, but a lot of people clean down the hotel. Maybe not to that
Yes.
extent, but like after COVID, we're all taking a thing and wiping down the doors and wiping shit down. We are all doing it.
Airplane
So
seats, everything, all of that.
yes,
Right.
yes,
Yes. Normal.
we're all doing it. We know she did it in the airport, but in the airplane. But that's to me normal. Like, but for her to just go onto somebody's house, bro, and then allow them to spray Lysol in their sink and then not get down and clean it. I don't know. It's like spraying it in there and letting it just be. It's just like it's so. That's why I guess I'm a little doubtful of her. But anyway, she's very upsetting. Let's move on to anything else you have to say about it?
Yeah, like, okay. Now, my last thing is this. Is she sick or is she evil?
Mm.
Is this victim or villainous?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is feel like she's either a victim of intense OCD where she is like where it cripples her and we're, you know, or she is a villainous, so unaware and uneducated and ignorant to go and really insult people in such a way that also is, I mean, that is just incredibly, I just don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, going on to another victim or villainous. I think it's a great transition. And by the way, just side note is victim or villainous, I think was the name of a paper I did once on the historical character Lucrezia Borgia. Anyway, so Lydia and Escott.
Yeah. Whew. So we have, y'all, the most dramatic scene of Lydia, and I don't know what it was, but it was giving off Bible. I don't know what that book was that was like on her. It was either her address book or it was the Bible, and they wanted us to think that Lydia had been crying all night. She woke. I don't know if she didn't take off those lashes because whatever, or maybe she was so distraught this morning that when she put them on, she put them on wonky because they were on terribly, Chris.
She had no, I know, because she had no makeup on. It looked like she took off her makeup last night with a wipe, so her lips were still, like, the lip liner was still there. And then they were like, quick, you have to film. And she was like, and like, was just like, wait, full strip from last night. Get as much glue on it as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I cannot. I mean, I don't know. Eyelashes and eyebrows. Why do I have to talk about it so much? Am I April? Why am I April?
No.
Is my OCD eyebrows and I think it is.
No,
I think it is.
No.
Did I shame people? Is that what it is?
Same thing. Let me tell you, because we all put on a strip eyelash. And we've all put them on incorrectly, but we've also put them on correctly. And we know that when we're in the mirror putting on a strip eyelash, that if it doesn't go on right, we must try again. We don't just like exit the room and just let it be wonky. There's nothing more embarrassing than walking around with an eyelash that's not right. I've seen it, I've done it, and I refuse to. So she did that to herself, and she's crying, and she's like, Scott did this to me, and he made me feel this way, and he's not a good man. It was 1 year. Why did he come here? Which to a certain extent is true. He wanted to fill out the chemistry, but he had been talking to his ex-girlfriend prior. And this is my thing. She's right. Why waste the fucking time? But he's like, I'm a good guy. And, Lydia's good. She's good, but there's no chemistry. There's no chemistry because she isn't just like enamored with your fucking weird ass behavior. But you're right, Chris, that had he been paying her, had he been giving her a monthly stipend, she would have been like, oh, Scott is so generous, whatever. So Lydia is very poised throughout this. And this is the first time we see her broken down. And she's like, I have to have courage. I have to have strength because I am a strong woman. And then she gets ready and she goes out to meet him. And she's now last night she was just like shut down and she went away. She comes back with, fuego. And he's like, Lydia, can we have somebody to translate again? So they come out. And she just like goes off on him and he can't handle it. Like that's one of the things too. He's one of those people who doesn't like confrontation or to be yelled at or like to be, whatever, because he thinks he's such a good guy that he's like, it doesn't align with who he thinks he is. Mm-hmm. And so he is like, that I never meant to do that. And she's like, well, if you wanted to be with a 29-year-old woman, if you wanted to do all this stuff, then you should have done that and you should have never come here. You're not a good guy. You're a bad guy. And she hollers and hollers. And then we have Nicole, who miraculously has her braces on. So we are left wondering, did this get filmed during the Chantel and did this get filmed? When did this get fucking filmed? Because I remember her with her braces off in Chantel and Pedro's show, so the family Chantel. So I'm just like, I just don't understand the timeline. She has full braces on.
I miss the braces. I just miss the braces because of like the shouting. But also because Nicole had practiced every word of what she wanted to say. And so I watched someone give a monologue, but
in another language.
I know.
And it's like, bra fucking bow.
I know. It was one of the better actings I've seen. Mm-hmm. I feel like Nicole is a great actress. The best one on the show.
Yeah. I'm really happy that they get the screen time and the money for their efforts. I'm really happy about them being on a reality show. Like it really takes a special person to be able to just be like, oh, this is my ride. And I'm going to take it until the wheels fall off. It's like a Cardi B moment. Oh, I'm here? Great.
And you're right. And I kind of like that they isolate this certain kind of argument, which I think is a relatable thing. Again, Lydia is like, no, you're shitty because why would you waste my time when you started talking to someone that you were already interested in 2 weeks before? And your thought, and he's like, because I wanted to come see if it was going to work out. That's shitty for me. Because what you should have done is take care of your fucking business and then not pretend that you are available when you're not.
Mhm.
You were never available. You came here having already had something going on with someone else. And I
Mhm.
told you not to. So now what? I'm here just for you to try on. I'm not a
Mhm.
fucking Nordstrom dress. Like,
Mhm.
so I actually love this idea because in his mind, he's like, I don't get it. No, I was talking to you and I wanted to see it through, you know, and I had invested this time. And it's like, that is if you are the main character in the story of life. But what Lydia's saying is, no, you're not. We're sharing this. You were thinking about what was good for you and not at all what was good for the person involved, which is me, because you aren't, because it's not it's a very narrow-minded, narcissistic self, kind of like a self, whatever, like selfish kind of view, which is how is this for you right now
Yeah.
without the other
Yep.
person. So I really just like, I will say this, whatever you're gonna think, I kind of just like the isolation of that in real time. I think
Yes.
that's a very relatable thing.
It's really great too because they've been talking for a year or whatever, and Nicole says that she feels bad because she's the one who introduced them, and she thought Scott would be good for her mother, but also Scott told her too much of the truth. Like he didn't have to tell her at all about the ex-Colombian girlfriend that he gave money to.
I know.
He could have just said, when she's like, oh, did you have an ex-girlfriend? Yes, but we're not talking anymore. And when she tried to be like, tell me more or whatever, he should have been like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I want to focus on you.
Yeah.
I just want to focus on you. Like, I don't want to, it's, that's a past relationship. But instead he like told her in order for her to think like, oh, he's so generous. He's so nice. He's this and that. And it did the exact opposite. She picked up what he was putting down, and it wasn't in the way that he thought.
Mhm.
And so he's like, then he's like, well, call my kids so my kids can defend me. And it's like, it's not that fucking Nicole is defending her mother. She's also translating. Like your kids don't need to come here to defend you because they're not intrinsically involved in your relationship. Like, Nicole is her daughter who you met and and she gave you her mother's number and you treated her mother poorly. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Go ahead.
I see what you're saying. I think that he's just feeling, of course, like she's going for the jugular when she says, Scott, who would want to be with you? Like, you pay for women's, like, so when she's inferring that he is so old and ugly that there is no hope for him to ever be with anyone younger and prettier, so he shouldn't worry about it. I think that he's, sort of taking that to be more like not so much translating as just a direct offense that he has to endure. And it's not the first time. It's not the first time he's had a whole meal with this person, and at that point he wanted to get out, and now he's gotten out, but now he has to hear it again.
Wow, you're right. I forgot that she said that to him, which she's not. she's half truth, but because he's not ugly. He's not. You think? Oh, what? No. He's not ugly. Yeah, he's not ugly. He keeps himself physically fit. He's like a burly whatever guy.
Bear.
Yeah.
The word is bear.
Yeah, he's a bear. So, but she's wrong in saying that, like, oh, nobody would want to be with you. No, he's actually a fun catch for somebody who's his age, for a young girl to try to get to the U.S. Like, I mean, she's wrong about that. But I think she's right about the fact that he pays for pleasure, because he wanted to fuck. He wanted to fuck Lydia. And imagine if they had sex.
They did. I thought they did.
No, I didn't think they did. They had separate rooms. Remember, he wanted to have the same room. But this whole time you thought like she snuck into his bedroom and they had the nookie?
Okay, Patreon, you really absolutely right now need to comment when this post is up of whether they had sex or not. I just assumed yes, because she hadn't had sex in 12 years and all this stuff, and like, I thought they fucked.
Oh, I hadn't made that conclusion. I don't think they said it. I don't know. Someone tell us. So, like, let's just go with that they hadn't, or if they had, right? If they had sex, could you imagine opening your body to somebody and then have them tell you that it's no fucking chemistry?
Opening your body is such a very visceral way of saying it.
I mean, when that's what you do, you let them.
I know.
Okay. So then
that's what I had gotten it the first time. I had let it wash over me. I know.
And so imagine that, and then like
I did. Wah, stop it.
No, I'm saying imagine.
I am imagining it. Opening your body. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you. I know. Believe me, I did imagine it, babe.
So she must be feeling some kind of way because of that. And then or also she's feeling some kind of way, let's say they didn't. And that he came there and he wanted to have sex right away and then they didn't. And she was trying to get to the bottom of everything and now he's all of a sudden like, well, it's the language barrier. And she's like, you know I didn't speak English. Did you expect me to learn English for you? I wasn't going to, because I'm a lawyer here and I'm a professional woman here and I don't need you. So like, if the thing is not working, then let's try. But we've been talking for a year. You owe me that. Could you imagine talking to somebody for a full year and then they come and visit you and they're frustrated because they can't communicate with you?
Yes, I can. And the reason why is this, because I don't understand this part. The whole time they've been talking and they have a translator app because they're texting. But even when they were, it was never in depth, always superficial. I don't get that. Spanish to English isn't such a crazy like translation that you can't like actually share things about yourself to each other. Literally, if it's going to be text, that's translated, especially if it's all that. So it feels like if they didn't for a whole year have ever any sort of in-depth conversations, if it really was just, hola, ¿cómo estás hoy? Me gusta, low weather. I know I'm obviously horrible Spanish, but like, I don't understand why they never for a year got to any like in-depth conversations so I keep saying the same thing, with technology. So
I don't know.
I also don't understand why, sorry, one more thing. I don't understand why, he didn't try and get a translator early on for them to have conversations. I don't understand. It's just like every part of it it's not the translation. It's not the language. They just don't have chemistry. I wish that he was just like, oh, Lydia, you're so beautiful. But yeah, not, it's just, we don't have that. We don't have the vibe going, but thank you so much. If oversharing maybe as a trauma response, I wonder how much of him oversharing happened to Nicole, or whether because he was friends with Nicole's Fernando, Nicole's ex, that Nicole and Nicole's ex knew about the Colombian woman before. I mean, I just don't know of how much he had to give and what was already known. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know either. It just, his response is just, I don't know. Watching him walk away and be like, I just feel like I'm being like, it's like literally, it doesn't, the narrative of himself doesn't align with what happened to him. And we saw someone who's like, I wish, yeah, me and Lydia, it's like yesterday she was just so shocked and now it's just all coming out. Yeah, because you fucking deserve it. And you should take that in and be like, wow, yeah, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done what I did, because I just wanted to see if it would work out with you. You were on the line and I wanted to, see if it's going to work. Like what? If the chemistry was awesome with Lydia, was he just going to dump the ex-girlfriend? No, it was never going to be Lydia. It was never going to be Lydia. And that's the thing that she has to understand. And that, I mean, it was part of her insecurity too. It was like saying like, why would you be with me if you want a 20? She really felt like the 29-year-old woman is is nothing compared to her. And I was like, Lydia, that's where your low self-esteem is coming in, because you have the experience and you guys can have fun together as adults. I don't know, there's something very comforting dating somebody your age for me. So that's why I kind of think of that when younger guys try to date me, I'm like, oh, no, no, you don't know anything, and the things like, no. I don't know. Okay, that's it. That's it, you guys. Anything else?
No, like we'll pick up Hari next. What is today? Saturday. Comes out in 2 days. Listen, thank you so much for your patience. Again, I said this in the last episode. Thank you for your patience, Patreon, as we get all these up. With all the other fun things we want to do. So yeah, let's end her.
Okay. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.